Alright, just because it's math, we know it has to get harder. So example 4 is going to be a little bit more harder here, but it's still the same process and everything, but it's a little bit harder. Now here, remember we're not using Pascal's triangles, we're using combinations. But before we go into all of this, before we even write the problem down, so hopefully you didn't write the problem down yet. If you did, erase it, because we're going to do something right before this. So here, let's jump into something here, over on this side. Because I want to ask this question because some people remember it, some people don't. If I were to say, let's raise this to the, let's say, third power. Now, if you raise that to the third power, does the x get the third power, or does the 2 also get the third power? Both of them get it, the x and the 2. So that's 2 cubed x cubed. Now, with that, we simplify it down. 2 to the third power is 8. Then it's x cubed. Now, with that, that's going to come back into play here for this problem. So that's important that you remember that. All right, so now let's go back to example 4. And we have this problem, and we're going to expand 2x plus y to the 5th power. We're going to expand that, make that bigger. And we're going to again use Pascal's triangle. And so here, with Pascal's triangle, we're throwing Pascal's triangle away. We're using combinations. So here, we're going to go ahead and expand this using combinations. Okay, so let's start off with, we know that our highest exponent is 5. So when we do our combination, we start off with 5 and 0. And then 5, 1, 5, 2, until we get down to it doubles itself. So that, in other words, it's 2 5s here. So until it doubles itself. Okay, so again, that's our coefficients. And now we're going to go ahead and do the other parts. Putting these into the calculator, we know here, this is 1. And here's a really good tip, so you don't even have to put all these in the calculator. Again, like Pascal's triangle, it always starts with 1 and ends with 1. The second one is always whatever the highest exponent is. So here, that's always going to be 5. When it comes, well, whatever the highest exponent is. And this part down here is always that same number. Because what happens is kind of like it gets to a certain point, and then it starts doubling back on itself, or doing like that mirror effect, where like it starts showing itself backwards. So here, 1 is here, 5 is, well, 1 is here, 1 is here, 5 is here, 5 is here, and then you just have to figure out what's going on in the middle. So again, the first 4, the first 2 and the last 2 you should already automatically get without having to put anything in the calculator. The middle 2 is what you're going to have to work out. So if you put in 5 NCR 2, you get 10. And then if you do 5 NCR 3, you get 10 again. So it doubles back on itself right there. So 5, 1, 5, 10. Then it doubled at 10, and then 5, 1. And it's always going to double back on itself every time. So that means you just have less work to do. So don't do all that work just because you just want to do it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste time. All right, so again, this is our first term. It's our highest exponent. So again, we write these down. The 2x, 2x. 2x, 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 2x. Again, we start off with the highest exponent and we go down until we get to 0. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Right, and then we deal with our y's, or our second term. So y's. And again, we start with 0 and go up to the highest exponent. Okay. And again, get rid of those terms that have the 0 exponent. All right, so no questions there. That makes sense. All right, now, again, let's go ahead and simplify the 2x to the 5th and all that good stuff. And again, I'm going to pull that down here on the bottom so you can see it. I'm going to do just a couple of them. I'm not going to do every single one because you can kind of see what's going on, hopefully. Again, remember, 2 gets to 5, x gets to 5. Remember, you get a 5, you get a 5, you all get a 5. Oh! So here, 2 to the 5th power is 32. X to the 5th. Okay, so let me do another one. Let me do the second one here. So we get 2x to the 4th power. The 2 gets a 4, the x gets a 4. 2 to the 4th power is 16. And x to the 4th is just x to the 4th. And then the rest of them, I'm just going to go ahead and show it to you and go from there. So here, instead of us putting 2x to the 5th, we're going to put in 32x to the 5th. And then the y is gone. Put 5. And again, instead of doing 2x to the 4th, we're going to go ahead and put down the 16x to the 4th. And then so on and so forth. So 10 here. Instead of putting 2x to the 3rd, we're going to go ahead and put 8x cubed. And I'm going to add the y's in a few minutes. All right, then we have 10, and that's 4x squared. It's 5, 2x. And then that's just 1 here. And again, at this point, you could have added the y's in as you were doing it for each line. I normally do, but I don't know why I didn't do that this time. But let's just add the y's in. So that's 1y. That's y squared. That's y to the 4th. Oops, I'm backwards. Oh, Lord. I left the 3rd off. Sorry, this is to the 3rd power. Y to the 4th, and then y to the 5th. And so here, take your time through it. You're not rushing to try to get everything done really fast. Take your time through it to make sure you have it. And relax with it, guys. Relax. You can do this. All right, so here we are left with 32x to the 5th. Because if you multiply 1 times 32, you get just 32. All right, here I'm going to multiply 5 and 16. That's 80 x to the 4th y. 10 times 8 is 80 x cubed y squared. 10 times 4 is 40 x squared y cubed. 2 times 5 is 10 x y to the 4th. And then that gives you just y. Now with that, again, take your time through each one of these. And if you looked at it again, this was multiplied together to give you 32. These two were multiplied together to give you 80. That gave you 80. This gave you 40. This gave you 10. And nothing happens with the exponents because you can't add them. These are not like terms. Y and x are not like terms, so you can't add them and get 5xy, well, xy to the 5th power. You can't add them up. You got to keep them separate because they're not like terms. So the very last thing is to write everything out horizontally with addition signs, and we is done. So let's go to write this out with addition signs. And if you run out of space, just write it on the next line. Like I'm running out of space here. So I'm going to add the addition sign either here or on the front here. It doesn't matter. That's it. And so you can do either way. You can write it out all out in one line, or you can do it just separate, break it up like this. And that's it.